feet up. Trap, I'm doing me. Hey yo, kick back with my feet up in the trap, I'm doing me. My feet up. I'm doing me. My feet up. Hey yo, kick back with my feet up in the trap, I'm doing me. Keep my distance from these suckers, I can't let them ruin me. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. 13 jumped off the porch with drugs, is influence. Hey yo, kick back with my feet up, kick back with my feet up. Kick back with my feet up in the trap, I'm doing me. Hey yo, kick back with my feet up, kick back with my feet up. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. Way to work naked like a skinny bitch, no crossing, needed for the crucifixion. Told out couple screws missing, paranormal niggas superstition. No paper in the room of fishing. Niggas slow way, niggas kissing without a diamond still shine glisten. Sell around so everybody hit it. Party strong, trying to for a mission. Mathematics, simple addition. Bad luck like a bad chick, one of the few still a better shit, no matter what. Never act different, no GPS, but they back tripping. Money cup, yes I'm back tripping like that's the kid, that's I'm back to hey, yo, keep back with my feet up in the trap, I'm doing me. Keep my distance from these suckers, I can't let them ruin me. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. 13 jumped off the porch with drugs, is influence. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up in the trap, I'm doing me. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up, keep back with my feet up. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me.
I was riding in the tourist during a rain. Got another little bun, them another K. Go by the escape, pop right a K. That cat with a dude, shot a Timberlake. We reach at a rally, it's a murder 8. Raw corner, don't watch step to run 8. I'm a star cloud 9, I'm an outer space. Roll running, show money, get it steady state. Black brother finna kill, have me on the way. Riding on the 6-9 person on the day. I was counting money way back at home 8. 7 8 when I boy, money boy trade. HD lifestyle, let me 4K. 4 2 rock on 100K. Being legal, I care 34 state. Sick tired of you, gotta
hey yo, keep back with my feet up in the trap, I'm doing me. Keep my distance from these suckers, I can't let them ruin me. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. 13 jumped off the porch with drugs, is influence. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up in the trap, I'm doing me. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up, keep back with my feet up. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up in the trap, I'm doing me. Keep my distance from these suckers, I can't let them ruin me. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. 13 jumped off the porch with drugs, is influence. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up in the trap, I'm doing me. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up, keep back with my feet up. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me.
All I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this, all I have in, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this world.
You niggas ain't running shit but your fucking mouth. You too motherfucking weak to represent the South. I don't see you in the hood like you say you be. I told you bitches from the jump not to fuck with G. You had to go and run your mouth trying to hate on me. Don't try to hide the fact remains you a wannabe. So you got a little cheese, nigga, that ain't shit. What good is it if you can't enjoy it with your clique? If you get caught slipping, you fucking the gang. I got them killers on my team causing major pain. Let me know if you want drama, nigga, I'ma bring it. Put them nines to your belly, let them bullets ring it. I'm coming hard from the start and I finish first. I top it off when I let my 9 milli burst. I lead a scene, scotch and rubber, about to hit the curb. All I have in this world is my balls and my motherfucking word.
All I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this, all I have in, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this, all I have in, all I have in.
Don't fuck with me. I'm riding in the box Chevy with my windows tinted. Through my enemy territory, they don't know who in it. I got that y'all in my lap, scoping out the scene. I'm about to do a drive-by, get away clean. I bust the block and came back on them fuck niggas. I unloaded my 380 cause it first quit. You should've seen them niggas scattering like cockroaches. I know they gon' retaliate as the night approaches. We strapped up to the T and we ain't as fuck taking names. If you see them bitches coming, niggas shoot to kill. I got a vibe that I really wanna make them feel. They cause a major violation to some real niggas. Behind that some fucking blood got this real nigga. When I see them, I'ma leave them with their vision blurred. All I have in this world is my motherfucking balls and my motherfucking word, nigga.
All I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this, all I have in this, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this, all I have in this, all I have in
working on my nerves to the point where I can't stand to hear you say a word. Always yapping, talking shit about the next nigga. Watch your back while I'm pulling out the tech, nigga. I'm about to blast on that ass like I'm trigger happy. If I don't bust a motherfucker, I'll let you slap it. It's guaranteed they gon' bleed when I let it loose. You can try to run and hide, but it ain't no use. You going down with the rest of them player haters. How you gon' try to play hard when you know you trained? You might as well sign your name on the dotted line, cause you can bet your bottom dollar that that ass is mine. What makes you think you so invincible you can't be touched? Like you so down that your compound can't be rushed. I treat you like a little bitch and kick you to the curb. All I have in this game is my motherfucking balls and my motherfucking word, nigga.
All I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this, all I have in this, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this world, all I have in this, all I have in this, all I have in this. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank everybody for coming through. What you call this, a late night special I'm doing here of confessions here. I see it wasn't nobody on, so I'm gonna just jump right on in and take this time up. You know what I'm saying? But this one right here might be a little bit different as far as confessions that I'm usually doing. Usually I'm in an interrogation room, you know what I'm saying, sitting back listening to, you know what I'm saying, people tell on themselves, which we're gonna get back to that. But tonight, this one here is kind of special. There's a lot going on in the news with things coming out about people we thought we knew. You know what I'm saying? And for years, certain things has been pointed out, but, you know, folks look at things as conspiracies. You know? To me, sometimes conspiracy just mean that's just an excuse not to think. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like my mic is high as hell. And where the hell is my background music? I don't have no background sound. But anyway, I work on that as the show goes on. But yeah, tonight is a little bit something different. This one piece I want to bring to y'all comes to one of our favorite TV judges. You know what I'm saying? He told us some things, and truthfully, I find his word quite credible. You know what I'm saying? On how he comes off, the advice that he gives and things like that. You know. But he has said something real interesting about our former president, Mr. Barry Obama. These are some serious allegations, but it's a little bit too deep to say it ain't true. Because it's like, well, why would you get on camera and say all this? It was kind of weird, but gotta find the right screen I'm on. But let me go ahead and switch this screen. I think this thing is messing up my feed here. I gotta figure out what that was. Okay, there we go. We got some music here though. Hope it's not overpowering my voice. Again, thank everybody for coming into the room. The ones in the room, the ones in the bushes. Salute forever, Lisa. Thank you for joining me tonight. This should be quite interesting. But yeah, we're gonna start off with our favorite TV judge, Joe Brown here. He said some things, man, that was just. Hold on, let me go ahead and sit there. Okay, let me see. Get all that straight. Sure that's turned on. Matter of fact, let me turn this off for a sec so that. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'm already queued up. Salute. Serious S, thank you for joining me. Actually, I'm doing this I said I was gonna do it, so I just went on and did it. But actually, I'm tired as hell doing this right now. But this is interesting. I'm trying to get back into the rhythm of just going live with all kind of information, but trying to be careful at the same time. But let's get into Mr. Joe Brown here and what he has to say about certain topics. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the times we just don't hear everybody else. We just jump out there and really just criticize people for what they say and not really listening and try to line it up for what you're actually seeing around you. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into this. Why is my frame rate low?
On Trump, is Trump a racist?
I don't think so. I've talked to a number of black entrepreneurs who back in the late 80s and 90s, early 90s, were trying to get financing. They couldn't. Somebody told them to go check with Donald Trump. So they come back and tell me they got a loan from Donald Trump. He gave them a term loan. Show up with the interest and the principal, one check, but they had to go see him personally. They independently relate this tale that when they saw him, he said, "This what you supposed to pay me? This our agreement?" I said, "Yeah." And then tore the check up, shook their hands, and congratulations. Now run your business.
And this was when?
This was back in the 90s. See, most people don't even know this. He had a sister. He was, every time you saw him back in the 90s, fine paper bag, brown, beautiful black model. He likes fine women. He didn't have any problem with dating a black woman, walking her down red carpets. So, I mean, she says he's not a racist. He just doesn't like many people, black or white. And he appreciates people who do stuff within their lane. Well, not stay in their lane, but where they choose to be, if they do it well, he admires them. Black, white, brown, red, yellow. Most people don't know this. He was the finance man behind Jesse Jackson's 2 runs for president.
Wow.
So, you know, he talks, but I don't mind somebody talking. I think we've gotten too sensitive to that. That's part of the effeminization of the country. I remember in junior high and high school, "Hey, man, I won't say nothing, man, but last night when I saw your mama, man, you don't know I was over there because you was asleep, man." But blah, 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 blah. We ran to dozens. That was our sport. Mm-hmm. So we were used to talking about each other. Now, "Man, he talking about my mama, man." What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm. Do you think Trump will get reelected?
I think he's going to get reelected. This impeachment.
By the way, this is an old this an old video. I believe it's from like 2019. So a lot of the stuff he's saying is a couple of years old. But this interview was suppressed so much it took me forever just to find this clip here. And the clip is out there once you find it. But it's so pushed down, because I guess what's on it, You know what I'm saying? It's like it's real hard for anybody to see it. So a lot of people don't have a lot of this information that this guy is going to be saying, especially what's coming up in a little bit. But
Impeachment mess we've got right now. There's a thing called the U.S. Constitution, and the Constitution says the president is the chief diplomatic officer of the United States. It puts no limits on his discretion. It simply says that if he comes up with any treaties, they have to be ratified by the Senate. If a treaty is ratified by the Senate, it becomes part of the supreme law of the land. The president and other elected and appointed officials are under oath required to follow the law of the land. The State Department, Secretary of State are part of his cabinet and are essentially advisors to the president. He's the boss. So what he does relative to Biden is simply what is allowed and mandated by the Constitution, specifically Article 1, Section 8, that says the president is charged with, quote, enforcing the law of nations. We have an Interpol treaty with various European states and also one specifically with the Ukraine that requires that we basically investigate, apprehend, prosecute, extradite criminal elements and criminality. So Biden, out of his own mouth, and I've heard this tape twice, January this year, he says, well, 2019, he says, I guess I broke some laws, extortion. I told the Ukrainians if they didn't get rid of this
The prosecutor.
prosecutor's name is Scola,
The
I think.
anti-corruption prosecutor.
Yeah,
in
he said. If you don't get rid of him, we'd withhold $85 billion in loan guarantee.
oh damn, I didn't realize my mic was off. But what I was saying was, what he is bringing up here about Ukraine, this is in 2019. Why is it now major news networks are just now getting on this? Is it because this guy done ran the country to the ground and now they want to turn on him and actually tell on all the shit he was doing? I mean, this kind of information been out here for a long time, so from what I'm seeing, and it gets worse.
Guarantees. So his son, who had just been discharged for the military for being a junkie, had a drug problem, had no history in business. He affiliates with this, and at the time, Biden was in charge of the U.S.'s Ukrainian posture and relations. Obama had assigned him that. And by implication, he brought Obama into committing a crime in office, which is a felony. It's extortion. He committed one, extortion, by out of his own mouth, threatening to withhold $85 billion in loan guarantees if they didn't get rid of this prosecutor who was zeroing in on that corporation that his son had just been hired to represent after Biden Sr.
2019. It is 2023, and this shit is now just hitting the fan.
Had been assigned by the president the task of dealing with Ukrainian diplomacy. So son gets $18.5 million out of it, and he has no background other than a dishonorable discharge from the armed services for drug abuse.
But one last question. Do you think black people are missing an opportunity with Trump?
Oh, yeah. See, you've got somebody that is not a lifetime Republican. He's been a blue dog Democrat for most of his life. He usurped the Republican Party. So I think this thing I've been tweeting about, no benefit, no vote, ought to be the deal. We haven't gotten a damn thing out of the Democratic Party for a long time. And the last one, number 44, and the one before that, 43, Bush and Obama, Well, there are pictures of Bush with his arm around 8-year-old Barack Obama because his stepdaddy, adopted daddy, Lolo Sotoro, had done a lifetime worth of business with the Bushes.
Wow.
Uncle George Herbert Walker, after whom George Herbert Walker Bush, Bush 1 president, was named, founded Halliburton in 1946 in Oklahoma. And Lolo Sotoro had been international executive vice president for Standard Oil.
There was talk of him being a CIA asset.
Well,
in
yeah, see,
Indonesia.
he ran the death squads for the Indonesian army. On his own call, anyone could be assassinated. So when George Herbert Walker Bush became head of the CIA under the Ford administration, he just got with his old buddy in the oil business, Lolo Sotoro, and pulled off the hits. See, Barack's grandmother has been acknowledged as being the woman that operated the channels through which CIA money went to the Southwest Pacific. So she introduced her daughter, who had just had Barry, Barack, to Lolo Sotoro, and they got married, and Lolo Sotoro adopted Barack Obama. The name was changed to Barry Sotoro. Now, when he went to high school in Hawaii,
What the fuck? Now, if you didn't know this stuff about your black president, it's because they suppressed all this information. We thought this nigga just showed up out of nowhere, ran and became president. But as you about to find out tonight, this dude has a serious past. And it makes everything look sketchy of everything that he done. I mean, really looks sketchy. Did this dude use black folks to set up the country that we in now? Because right now ain't nothing in this country for us. And it's because of how we move, how we think, judging people off your fucking feelings instead of off of fucking facts. You know what I'm saying? Did he start setting us up at that point when he went in office? But let's continue. I'll let you think about that.
I know about that high school. I almost sent my oldest son to it. I could afford it, but I didn't think he deserved it. 20 years ago, the tuition was $95,000 a year, not including room and board. When Obama went there, I've talked to two of his classmates. They independently state that the tuition, not including room and board, was $45,000. Now, Business Insider reports his income for 2017 at over $200 million net. That's after taxes, deductions, write-offs. For this last year, 2018, they reported it as $570+ million. And that's after all deductions, tax, right? Trump doesn't make that net. I mean, even some of the richest people in America don't make that. Why? Because when his stepdaddy died, he was one of the 10, 15 richest men on earth. And he left everything in a trust fund operated out of Indonesia, so the American government can't touch it. That makes Barack Obama 1/3 beneficiary for the assets of one of the 10, 15 richest men on earth.
So I guess we can figure out now how he got that house in Martha's Vineyard. Because I don't even think a president makes over $450,000 a year, close to $500,000 a year. But I could be wrong. If he got all these investments and ties into big major companies and stuff due to his bloodline, that could explain a lot of the money that he got. But, you know.
See, so we got a game run on us. So, you know that little thing that Bush W does when he gets with Michelle, they giggle and he gives her candy. The inside thing, is that supposed to be the same kind of candy he used to give to her husband when he was 6, 7, 8 years old?
Oh, wow.
Well, damn. I'll let y'all be the judge of that information. Is this our first black president? I mean, just hearing it the first time, it was like, yo, I didn't know this. You know what I'm saying? That is absolutely crazy. But things get a lot deeper and stuff, because this show is called Confessions. So, I mean, I guess we're going to get some confessions. Some people are just breaking down this, I guess I can call it a confession of the history, a piece of a history that we didn't know about Mr. Barack Obama. Like I said, a lot of people is just giving little 3-4 seconds of it, stuff like that. You can never really get a good judgment off things like that, man. You gotta hear the whole thing. So, I mean, what better way to do it is bring you the whole thing. This is a press conference back from 2008, I think just before Barack Obama became president. This dude came out and told some interesting tales about it. Buckle up your seatbelt. You know what I'm saying? Truthfully, I don't see no reason why this guy would lie, but I am looking at him kind of sideways at the time that he came out, which was like, this is like 9 years after the incident. He swore up and down he didn't know this guy at the time, which is possible, you know, but it all seems kind of odd. That's why I bring it to my people, and I'll let y'all be the judge of it. You know what I'm saying? Where did all these conspiracy rumors come from? For every conspiracy, there got to be a truth somewhere of where a lot of this information is coming from. And this right here is a huge smoking cannon right here. I mean, damn. But I ain't gonna talk y'all too much longer. Let's get into this.
Good afternoon. My name is Montgomery Blair Sibley. I'm the attorney for Larry Sinclair, and I just want to give you an overview of how we're going to proceed this afternoon.
Serious ass, not a disappointment. I think the guy be dropping a lot of jewels, old school jewels that is hard to really, well, I don't know. He talk kind of straightforward. You know what I'm saying? He's real about what he say. He been around for a while. You know, he's seen a lot, been through a lot. I find him kind of credible due to his background and his career and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But he is controversial because, I mean, who really wants to hear the truth? I mean, really, especially if it's bad truth.
Afternoon. First, the National Press Club rents space. They do not condone or endorse the views of the people who rent the space. And we've been overwhelmed with people criticizing the National Press Club, and we just want to make it clear, Larry is here because he rented this room, and as a result, he's allowed to get up and say what he wants to say. The National Press Club has nothing to do with that. Mr. Sinclair is going to make a brief statement. You will be provided copies of that statement once he's done. And after that statement, he will entertain any reasonable questions and try to answer them. The procedure for doing that will be this microphone, because we're being recorded and we want to make sure your questions are recorded so that we get a full question and answer for the video that's being made today. I will come around the room. I will not give you the microphone, but I will hold the microphone so you can ask your questions. And at the end of that statement, at the end of the questions, Larry will be leaving the room. With that said, Mr. Sinclair, the microphone is yours.
Good afternoon. First thing I'd like to do is thank a very personal thank you to Reverend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts. You're probably about to find out some interesting facts about your first black priest.
Pastor James David Manning for showing up, for his support. Thank you so much for being here. It means a great deal. Good afternoon. My name is Larry Sinclair. I'm a former recreational drug user, drug trafficker, and I'm a convicted felon for crimes of forgery, bad checks, and theft by check. But I'm also an American citizen. I love this country, and I cannot stay silent regarding Barack Obama, knowing what I know. Today I will discharge my obligation as a citizen to witness this knowledge to you and raise questions for others to investigate and consider. I'm going to briefly describe my background and experiences with Senator Obama. In 1999, what appears to me to be a coordinated effort to discredit me, and finally a list of questions. After this brief statement, I will take and try to answer any reasonable questions. Please understand, I will respect your questions and try to answer them. I will not be disrespected, nor will you. My background. I'm 46 years old and I currently reside in Duluth, Minnesota. I am a U.S. citizen. I've made mistakes in my lifetime. I have been convicted and served prison sentences for writing bad checks, forging checks, using stolen credit card numbers in Arizona, Florida, and Colorado. These events occurred over 20 years ago, between 1980 and 1986. After going public on the internet with these claims against Senator Obama earlier this year, I became aware of a warrant out of Florida dated from 1986, which I have resolved, and it has now been dismissed. I also have an active Colorado-only warrant for alleged theft and forgery. I am not ignoring this warrant, but am addressing it with the court in Colorado as well as with the district attorney's office. I have a pending motion to dismiss this warrant, which I am waiting to have calendared by the Colorado court. I have lived and worked under 3 different legal names. My birth name is Lawrence Wayne Sinclair. Later on, I had my name legally changed first to Larai A. Silvas and later to Larai Vizcarra Avila. Both name changes were conducted legally in the Pinal County Superior Court, Florence, Arizona. I legally returned to my birth name in the Fremont County District Court, Canyon City, Colorado in the year of 1997. In regards to the Obama incident, I flew out of Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Serious S, this is a guy who see, I don't want to give away too much of it before he starts, but honestly, I don't really think that he's lying. It is too detailed, and if you actually know history, well, not even history, if you just keep up with a lot of things over the years, it started to make sense. And that's about as far as I can go with that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was paying attention around this time, and you heard little things like that, and these things get overlooked because people come out and say it's an automatic lie with no research. You know what I'm saying? That's how we finding out things so late. Because when it do come out, you know what I'm saying? The same thing that's going on now was going on back then. They'll suppress information, especially if they want to make somebody look good. But that's about where I'm at with this. Let's get into this.
To Chicago on November 2nd, 1999, arriving in O'Hare early in the morning of November 3rd. I went to the Chicago area to attend the graduation of my godson, my best friend's son, from basic training from the Great Lakes Navy Training Facility. I made reservations at the Comfort Inn and Suites in Gurnee, Illinois, based solely on the location to the training center. On November 5th, 1999, I hired the services of 5-Star.
Now, see, serious. Now that's the correct, that's the correct way to go about it. Let's analyze. Let's analyze this information. Because it'll be bad if we really, just because he's black, we just want to look at him because he's great, even though he's a messed up individual. And because we lack the knowledge of the understanding of what was really going on down there in DC and stuff. That's basically what's really pushing me this channel, so we can play stuff like this, so we can research and get to know what's really going on a lot better than how we hear it on TV, the news, and things like that and stuff, which just gives you not even 1% of what's really going on. Now we can get like a first-hand account, you know what I'm saying? No, this nigga is not playing golf. Well, he tripping. But let's get back to the show.
Limousine. Excuse me. I had hired them both for November 5th and November 6th of 1999. On November 6, 1999, I asked the limo driver, whose name I now reveal for the first time, Jagir Paramit Mutani, if he knew anyone who would like to socialize and show me Chicago. One note, there's a typo in the statement that you will get at the end of the statement. We will put an updated and corrected version on a website that you will also be given access to, as far as the name is concerned. Mr. Mutani understood that I was looking for someone who knew Chicago and would enjoy socializing. Mr. Mutani said he knew someone who was a friend of his. On November 6, 1999, after picking me up at the hotel in Gurnee, and this is significant, Mr. Mutani used his cell phone to make a call. That call was made to then Illinois State Senator Barack Obama to set up an introduction between myself and Senator Obama. Upon arriving at the bar and exiting the limo, Senator Obama was standing next to Mr. Mutani, and I was introduced to Senator Obama by name. Later that evening in a bar which I believe was called Alibis, and I state believe because I have failed so far to get Citigroup to provide the credit card receipts that has the actual name. I mentioned I could use a line or two to wake up. Senator Obama asked me if I was referring to coke, and I stated I was. After stating I was, Obama stated he could purchase cocaine for me and then made a telephone call. This too is significant, from a cell phone to a presently unknown individual, during which Senator Obama arranged the cocaine purchase. Senator Obama and I then departed the bar in my limousine and proceeded to an unknown location.
It would help if I turn my mic on. But one of the main things that bother me about this is he read all of this from off of notes. I understand that he wrote a book about this, and other things, there's other people who came out too with, I guess, evidence and stuff like his high school girlfriend and things like that. You know what I'm saying? From letters that this man wrote, you know what I'm saying, with his own hands, stating some of the stuff that this guy's gonna bring up. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of makes this kind of believable, because I mean, your high school girlfriend saved the love letters. you know, so that's why I'm 50-50 right now. I'm still kind of 50-50, because it's like, why is all this coming out now? But that's why I brought it to the fam. Let us judge.
Location where Senator Obama exited the limousine with $250, which was provided to him by me. Returned a short while later with an 8-ball of cocaine, which he gave to me. I did ingest a couple of lines of cocaine, and shortly thereafter, Senator Obama produced a glass cylinder pipe and packet of crack cocaine from his pocket. Obama then smoked the crack cocaine. I performed fellatio on Senator Obama in the limousine during the time Senator Obama was smoking crack cocaine, after which I had the driver take me to my hotel, the Comfort Suites, Gurnee, Illinois. The following day, November 7th, 1999, Senator Obama appeared at my hotel room, unannounced, uninvited, where we again ingested cocaine, and I again performed fellatio on Senator Obama.
Now, did y'all hear that part? This guy is front of Congress. That's serious. This dude has signed affidavits and all kind of stuff to back up what he's saying. If he's lying on this Congress floor, that's perjury. That's what makes this a little bit more interesting, because all the things that he went through to back up what he's saying. The reason why he came out and said this, I don't know. He tells a little bit about it while he talks, but from from what he is saying, and this is 2008, we still didn't really know nothing about this guy except he was a senator. We don't know where he came from. We don't know what he was doing in the 90s. We just found out his name was Barry about 2015, 2016. I mean, for real. We didn't know his name was Barry when he first got elected the first term. We found out at the end of his second term that his name was Barry. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of weird things going on. But not just that, it's the stuff that he pushed through and did his hardest to push through, and now is over in other countries trying to get this stuff pushed through, which makes this kind of almost believable. But you'll see what I'm talking about the more he talks. I'm just saying. But I definitely feel you. I'm still kind of like that too, serious. I'm still kind of like that too. But something ain't right.
Significantly, both the driver's telephone call to Senator Obama and his call to the drug dealer should appear on the driver's and Senator Obama's cell phone billing statements. In the fall of 2007, September 2007, I contacted the presidential campaign of Barack Obama to request solely that Senator Obama publicly correct his stated drug use record to reflect his use of crack cocaine with me in November of 1999. When I made the first contact, I left with the presidential campaign.
Why would it be important for him to say that? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to be unbiased and look at it. You know what I'm saying? I was never that guy just not to believe it just because he's the first black president. That's a bullshit way to think. But why would he come out and why would he call him for him to basically confess that he smoked crack? If y'all knew this, if y'all knew Barack Obama smoked crack, would that have changed your vote back then? I'm just asking. Let's continue.
Of Senator Obama a telephone number for the campaign to return my call. The first number I provided was a Texas cell phone number. From the period of Labor Day weekend 2007 through November 18th of 2007, I did provide a total of 4 different callback numbers to the Obama campaign. As I had moved and I had changed the numbers to reflect locally my place of residence at the time. In late September to early October, excuse me, I lost my place here. In late September to early October 2007, I received a call from a male who identified himself as a Mr. Young, stating he was calling in regards to calls I had made to the Obama campaign. This first call was in fact an attempt by Mr. Young to obtain from me the identities of anyone I had contacted concerning my 1999 allegations against Senator Obama. This first call shocked me in that this Mr. Young asked me why I had, excuse me, why I had never mentioned to the campaign.
And you know one thing that's weird about this? This guy, serious, I don't really think that it's a lie. Because something is not lining up. The thing that I can look at right now to make it look like a lie is throughout this whole thing, he never brings Michelle up really. Now, if they've been married for X amount of years, because mind you, this is 2008 right here. He was talking about a sexual encounter with the Senator Obama in 1999. Where the hell was Michelle at? Because how old are their kids? Me, truthfully, without anybody saying nothing, without nobody putting that in my head, I didn't ever think the kids were his. I mean, like I said, I don't get fooled off of what's the word I'm looking for? Identity politics. Just because he's black, and they couldn't find nothing on him at that moment. You know what I'm saying? Just like the birth certificate thing. How can you write off the birth certificate thing after hearing Joe Brown say what he said? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's possible he could be American. He could be an American citizen, but why wasn't all that background disclosed in 2007 when he started running? That's my question. Why was all this stuff disclosed and we finding out 8-9 years later after he leave the office? And this was out back then.
Shocked me as I had never. Whoa, hold on, so I'm lost here. Thanks, because this is getting. I can't even see it. The first call was in fact an attempt by Mr. Young to obtain from me the identities of anyone I had contacted concerning my 1999 allegations against Senator Obama. The first call shocked me in that this Mr. Young asked me why I had not asked Senator Obama to disclose the sexual encounters I had with Mr. Obama in 1999. I was shocked as I had never mentioned to the campaign or anyone working for the campaign any sexual encounters, as my call was prompted by drug allegations only. The call ended with Mr. Young stating I would hear from someone in a few days. In mid to late October 2007, I received a second call from this Mr. Young, at which time I clearly became aware that this individual was personally involved with Senator Obama rather than just an employee of his campaign. The tone of the conversation had a sexual nature. Mr. Young did not once advise me how he obtained my phone number, which by this time had now...
See what I'm saying? Serious? You can't never just tell yourself this. If you never heard this, how can you straight out call it a conspiracy? After you see how the news suppress information, hide information, just to favor a certain person. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if this is a conspiracy, that means everything they saying about 45 is a conspiracy. It got to go both ways. Just like with my last live and stuff, showing you the corruption down in Mississippi. If 45 is going through all this stuff, getting arrested and all this stuff for calling out the same thing, why is not swinging both ways? Ask yourself that. I mean, if he was wrong for saying that, these other people should be wrong for saying that. Matter of fact, I did 2 shows like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm still 50-50 with this guy. He could be wrong, but he could be right. I don't live his life. You know what I'm saying? But once we get to the end of this and he gets to answering questions and stuff, that's when it starts to become more believable because of how he's answering the questions. This guy gained nothing off of this. Nothing. I'm not sure now because this is 2008. I'm not sure where he's sitting at now. I'm pretty sure it's people paying him now to get the interview because this is a hot topic right now. This is going viral. Damn, 14 years later. It's crazy.
Now changed to a Delaware number. In late October 2007, I received a text message from the gentleman identified as Mr. Young, in which he stated he was intimately involved with Senator Obama and that Obama was discussing with him and his pastor how to publicly acknowledge Senator Obama's drug use in 1999, and that Obama wanted to be sure I had not discussed the sexual encounters or drug incidents with any media at that time. In mid to late November 2007, in another text message from Mr. Young, he advised me that Senator Obama will publicly correct his statement as to the last time he used drugs, and I did not need to concern myself with publicly disclosing it myself. The last contact I had with Mr. Young was in early December 2007, when he made it clear to me that Senator Obama had no intentions of publicly acknowledging his 1999 use of crack cocaine, and that Mr. Young was in fact doing nothing more than milking information from me for Senator Obama's use. I later learned that A. Donald Young, the choir director of Reverend Wright's Trinity United Church of Christ, Obama's now former church, and who was openly homosexual, learned that he was murdered on December 23rd of 2007. I have cooperated with the Chicago Police Department on this matter by providing them the telephone numbers I was using during the fall of 2007. And I release them now publicly in the hope that someone may be able to connect.
Now that's a key piece right there. He want people to start pulling up goddamn phone records and shit to prove his shit. Now ain't nobody going that goddamn far to prove no story like that. Like I said, this guy's story seems credible, even though it seems credible to me because we didn't know nothing about this guy. He just showed up out of nowhere, won over the black people, and walked into the White House. It's like he used us to get a certain power to do the certain things that he did. I've been calling it out for years, but it's hard to call things out if you don't have all the information. All you can say is, something don't feel right, something don't look right. You know what I'm saying?
Connect the dots between these telephone numbers and Mr. Young. Those numbers are 954-758. Actually, that should be 956. That's another typo. 956-758-1105. 956-758-1885. 956-758-8002, 302-685-7175, 612-466-1043. In what I now realize was a naive and uncounseled decision, I posted in January 2008 a video on YouTube where I related the above information regarding my liaisons with Senator Obama in 1999. The response was overwhelming, and I quickly became the recipient of what in hindsight appears to have been a coordinated attack on my character, with ever-increasing falsehoods circulating on the internet.
I mean, what you expect, brother? I mean, damn, you saying some powerful shit, man, against somebody who they thought was just flawless. Man, wait till I start pulling out these other things that y'all say is conspiracy, man, and let y'all judge.
Response, I agreed to take a polygraph test sponsored by whitehouse.com. The results of that test have been partially revealed to the end of labeling me a liar and taken as gospel by all. I'd like to make the following comments about that polygraph test. First, I have been subsequently advised that whitehouse.com was a website dedicated to anti-Clinton pornography until earlier this year. In fact, until January of 2008 to be exact. Second, I have now come to understand that lie detectors are junk science at best, which is why courts of law refuse to use them. Third, a review of the results by a George W.
He said lie detectors is junk science. But later on, you're going to find out that he passed the lie detector. Let that make sense. He's still calling it junk science, and he passed it, which is kind of funny. Let's continue.
Magic, PhD of antipolygraph.org, raises serious questions about the legitimacy of this particular examination. Indeed, overlooked by almost everyone is that whitehouse.com's own examiner, Dr. Gordon Barlin, Salt Lake City, Utah, observed that on the drug question regarding Senator Obama, that the computerized score found that there was less than 1% probability of deception by me. That's about as high a passing score as one could possibly obtain. Finally, in February 2008, I was told anonymously that Dan Parisi of whitehouse.com received $750,000 from the Obama campaign through David Axelrod's AKP Media and Message One, or Message and Media, I think, to organize an effort to publicly discredit me. When I confronted Dan Parisi with this allegation, he did not deny it. but instead withdrew the second exonerating polygraph report of Dr. Gordon Barlin, failed to post the video of my polygraph as he and WhiteHouse.com promised they would do, and even removed posts from their website altogether, claiming that I had had enough of the attacks by Sinclair's supporters and Sinclair himself, quote unquote. The polygraph results as misrepresented were immediately seized upon by the blogger community, and I became the subject of vicious lies about me. I was forced to file a lawsuit in an attempt to stop those lies about me that had been circulating. That lawsuit sought to obtain the proof of what I was saying about my contact with Senator Obama through subpoenas for the identities of the anonymous bloggers, so they could be linked to the Obama campaign and relevant records of the cell phone companies to prove the truth of my allegations. To date, though the lawsuit is now over 90 days old, Judge Henry Kennedy has refused to permit the suit to move forward so this evidence may be obtained. In conclusion, in sum, you can discredit my story, and then you can make your decision on who should be next President of the United States. The burden is now off of me, as I have told my story.
So at this point, really, I'm trying to figure out, is he upset that Barry Obama allowed him to suck his dick? Or is he upset that Barry Obama was smoking crack? I'm really not understanding why he's doing this. Why is it important that we know that you gave this man fellatio? That is that man's private business. I didn't need to know that. And why did the world need to know that? You on Congress floor. Some small ass glasses on. But I ain't gonna pick with the brother. Let's continue to see what he got to say.
Story without the distortions that have been intentionally heaped on me, and what my lawyer tells me is an ad hominem attack. Shoot the messenger so you don't have to hear the message he is bringing. I'm now done. It's for others to find the corroborating evidence of my story by locating the limousine driver, Mr. Mutani, by checking the telephone numbers related to Donald Young and Senator Obama. I leave you with these questions that I've asked of Senator Obama, but in which he, of course, refuses to answer. Who wants to be the next president of the United States? Has refused to answer.
Now, that is a key piece, because even though the phone service for those numbers that he called out might be gone, but the companies can still pull up text messages and stuff like that, from what I'm finding out. Now, if Barack Obama had certain phones that he was using, and that number's in this man's call logs, and they don't message back and forth, the plot will thicken, boy. The plot will thicken. But we don't know none of that information yet. Like I said, we're just finding out about this right here. So, let's continue.
Number one, why won't Senator Obama provide his cell phone numbers and telephone records for all his personal and official cell phones held by him for the time period of no more than November 3rd through November 8th of 1999, when we met? Two, why won't Senator Obama provide his cell phone numbers and telephone records for all his personal and official cell phones held by Senator Obama for September 2007 through December 23rd of 2007, the murder of Donald Young? Three, why won't Senator Obama provide all email communication, both personal and campaign related, to and or from AKP Media and Message?
Matter of fact, this came out right after the chef died, which people think that that's conspiracy, but I'm seeing this stuff build up momentum every day with more information and more information. It's kind of hard to write that stuff off, man, when a lot of things start lining up. Yeah, some people can go off just the main narratives that's, you know what I'm saying, that's being put out there. But how much research is actually being done to actually see the dots connect? You know what I'm saying? Something seems fishy about that story. I'm just saying.
From January 18th, 2008 through February 29th of 2008 for Senator Obama, David Axelrod, and David Plouffe. Fourth, why won't Senator Obama provide proof of all payments made from AKP Media, Obama for America, David Axelrod, David Plouffe, and Senator Obama's accounts for the period of January 18th, 2008 through February 29th of 2008? On a website that we posted today, larrysinclair.org, you will find the documents that I have referred to in the statement. A copy of the homepage for that website is attached. And Mark's going to be passing them out. Thank you for the time and your attention this afternoon, and I will now take any questions. Test 1, 2, 3.
Now, this is the part where it gets kind of interesting on how he answered these questions. And boy, he answered a lot of questions. I'm just looking at the timestamp. But this is where you kind of break it down, because now he's under interrogation by the press. You know what I'm saying? They painted him out to be one way because they was told to paint him that way. And this guy comes up trying to fuck up their stories. That's the way I have to look at it, because that's how things are going on right now. In our face, that we can actually see. Back then, we didn't notice all this stuff. Some people did. We called it a conspiracy. You just would call all kind of stupid shit. But me, I always got my eyes and ears open, and anything can trigger anything that can come back to anything like this if it was there. You know what I'm saying? This was never there, so I ain't never seen no shit like this. So let's see what the press really has to ask him, and how he answered them, and how he answered questions to him.
Who's got a question? Yes, sir.
Mr. Sinclair, could you explain why, if this incident happened in 1999, you waited until 2007 or 2008 to come forward? It's a question of credibility, sir. Why didn't you come forward back in 1999 or 2000?
Well, number one, in 1999, I really...
Before he answered, I wanted to say, when I first heard this, that was a dumbass fucking question. If he didn't know the... Well, I'm gonna just let him explain. But that was a dumbass question in mine.
I didn't care whether he was a senator from Illinois or not. To be honest with you, I wasn't a resident of Illinois. As far as why now, I was living in Mexico up until 2006. It really was of no interest to me. I know plenty of politicians, both locally and internationally, that, you know, are pretty much crooked. The whole issue was based on his drug use and his claim that he had not used drugs since his college days, and that was the whole issue that brought this forward.
Next question. Are you receiving any financial support for your efforts from anyone? And if so, do any of those people have connections to the Republican Party?
I'm glad you asked that question. Number one, I am not.
That was the second dumbass question. Just because I understand it's dirty on both sides. But usually when you ask a question like that, did you get paid by the Republican Party to put out this information? To me, is a dumbass question when we see all the damage that the Democrats be doing with the money that they put out to goddamn swing shit around. When they call that stuff out, majority of the times that's what they doing. Somewhere, somehow, that's what they doing. That's my opinion. That's off of what I'm seeing. That's exactly what I've been seeing lately and stuff. Everything that you say that you trying to accuse somebody else of, you're guilty of, and you're trying to deflect away from yourself. Which has been working, especially if you can control the media. Let's go.
Connected with any party, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, Democratic, none. Nor are anybody that are contributing to the cost and the expense of this. Every penny that has gone to pay for this press conference, my travel expenses, have come from average American citizens, most of them actually, according to their own statements, are declared independents, in the sums of from $12.31 to $100.
Question, sir.
Mr. Sinclair, could you explain why, if this incident happened in 1999, you waited until...
I believe it was a tape cut right there, and it looked like some better quality that just popped up, but let's continue.
2007 or 2008 to come forward. It's a question of credibility, sir. Why didn't you come forward back in 1999 or 2000?
Well, number one, in 1999, I really didn't care whether he was a senator from Illinois or not. To be honest with you, I wasn't a resident of Illinois. As far as why now, I was living in Mexico up until 2006. It really was of no interest to me. I know plenty of politicians, both locally and internationally, that, you know, are pretty much crooked. The whole issue was based on his drug use and his claim that he had not used drugs since his college days, and that was the whole issue that brought this forward. Next question.
Are you receiving any financial support for your efforts from anyone? And if so, do any of those people have connections to the Republican Party?
I'm glad you asked that question. Number one, I am not connected with any party, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, Democratic, none. Nor or anybody.
I believe he is not connected to any party. He's just a gay man, and you know how gay folks are. You touch one of them motherfuckers, they gonna let the whole world know, goddamn.
That are contributing to the cost and the expense of this. Every penny that has gone to pay for this press conference, my travel expenses, have come from average American citizens, most of them actually, according to their own statements, are declared independents, in the sums of from $12.31 to $100 each.
David Hutchins, American News Project. What is Veritas Federal Media, and what role do they have in renting this venue and the camera crew in back?
The media company you just requested, what is it? It's exactly what I just answered this gentleman. It represents every individual person. It's not a company, in all honesty.
Now it gets interesting because this guy just called out Veritas, which is a news company. You can they've been through a lot of bullshit, I feel, you know what I'm saying, the last couple of years and stuff because of the truth that they put out. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what kind of got me popped on the last channel and stuff. It uses some of their content as far as Antifa, the school board and CRT, that's a racing game. But CRT, you know what I'm saying, things that people say that didn't exist, they was exposing this shit on the front line and showing you who they are, what was going on, and all kind of stuff. And it's channels like that that's being knocked off and stuff where people don't know none of this stuff. And when we bring this stuff up, because we have a large frame of research of listening to a lot of different avenues and stuff, and you bring this stuff to the table, nobody knows. Because these kind of channels are the ones who's getting shut down. And you get stuck with, you know what I'm saying, the Fox, the CNNs, the MSNBCs, and a bunch of people withholding fucking information. They just telling you what you want to know to make you feel good. You know.
It was established as an email address when I arrived here for the Democratic National Committee's bylaws and rules and bylaws. Okay, I did. Okay, it's not a company. It is nothing more than a name to represent all of the individuals across this country that have helped get this story out.
Before she started, I want to correct myself. It ain't Veritas News, it's Project Veritas. James O'Keefe. You know what I'm saying? I think some of his work is still up here on YouTube if you wanted to go research that and look at the information that he was putting out. I mean, this guy put out some very valuable information, but like I said, his channel been suppressed. Just like a lot of other news channels that I can pull out. Just follow me on my community wall. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of other avenues of news sources. And I'm not talking about the individuals of content creators or nothing like that. We do our own kind of reporting. You know what I'm saying? Even though they still dig deep, but there's other news channels out there that's just really putting out some information that's really not being heard, and they've been putting it out. You know what I'm saying? A couple of channels was a couple of years ahead of time, which had a lot of us a couple of years ahead of time predicted shit that may look crazy for others. Now those predictions are looking at us dead in our motherfucking face. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like I don't really fall for the word conspiracy, because there's always some truth within the conspiracy. You just have to know how to find it.
Would you be willing to share your mental health records with the public?
Actually, I'm going to post later this afternoon a list of all of my doctors, going back through all of my medical records that are available through 1999. Anyone with valid, legitimate press credentials that wants to check my mental health history, I will be more than willing to sign an authorized medical release for that purpose. Huh? More than 30 minutes of what? Well, actually, if you're valid press and you want me to release my psychiatric records, I'll release them to you as long as you pay for them. I have nothing to hide.
Well, it was a joke. It was about McCain and the 30-minute.
Oh, sorry. You can tell where I'm at today.
Yes, Mr. Sinclair.
That's something right there I caught earlier too, because he is on edge. You know what I'm saying? Like he's in his feelings while he's saying it, which kind of makes it, he could be telling the truth. Because if you ask the wrong question, boy, it might trigger him, boy. It might trigger. If you lying, things are not going to trigger you if it's being said. Just little key things I'm paying attention to. I'm still not saying he's telling the complete truth. He could be lying. I'm just saying.
Will you state whether you had sexual relations with any other politicians here today?
Actually,
your name has come up with Senator Larry Craig.
For the record, I have not been engaged or involved with any other politician. In fact, at the time that I met Senator Obama, I had no idea that he was actually in Illinois politics. Behind you.
That's another key thing. When he did that, he didn't have no idea that this guy was a politician. He was just some guy he met through some friends.
Change your name so often?
Well, first of all, in my younger years, I was considered like, wild. And it was more out of respect to my family because, as you can see, with everyone putting my past history all over the place and mistorting it, I changed my name. The first two times I changed my name was while serving prison sentences in Florence, Arizona.
You said that he was introduced to you by name. You didn't know he was an Illinois politician. And why would he be introduced by his true name to you and you would know that he was a politician over the years? How did you realize that it was him? I mean, because if he's going to engage in sex and drug taking and he's a renowned politician in Chicago, it's certainly a little bit strange that they give you his real name through a limo driver. I mean, that story doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And how would you remember for 10 years when you lived away and then recognize him on TV or how?
Okay, first of all, yes, he was introduced to me by name, okay? He was introduced to me as Barack Obama. And as far as me not knowing that he was a politician locally, I was not a resident of Illinois. When I became aware of exactly who he was when he gave the keynote speech at the Democratic National Convention in 2004 while I was living in Mexico watching it on Sky TV.
Well, damn. Still, why is it important for you to bring this story out when you did? You know what I'm saying? Well, it seems to me, it seemed like he was trying to get, he might have been trying to get paid off of this on the back end. I know he's pretty paid now because I'm seeing this new interview pop up everywhere. That's what made me jump back to the old one first, because he has a new interview out there now where people actually want to start to talk to him about this video here, because I guess he's been quiet all these years after this. So, but still, I don't understand what's the reason of bringing this out at this moment. This is 4 years after you found out after the Democratic convention. He was really trying to screw Obama, boy. Sunday right here, boy.
No, I did not say that. I told you he was, in fact, introduced to me by name. I have always stated that he was introduced to me as Barack Obama by the driver and by Barack Obama himself, sir. Always.
Hey, Larry, how much did this whole event cost you? And what are you doing now for a living?
Well, as far as anybody wanting to know the final expenses, I would have to check because I've had a few things changed in the last 24 hours. But as of Monday morning, I think it came to a total of $4,126.89. And what I do for a living, I am disabled permanently due to severe nerve damage and spinal injuries. And believe me, it's killing me standing up here this long, but I'll take the question.
He's a victim of Brokeback Mountain. I'm just saying. Now I'm fucking with you and shit. He explains why his back is fucked up. Let's go.
Anyway.
Jim Malone with Voice of America. Given your criminal record, the fact that the crimes that you've been involved in involve deceit and fraud, why is it that you think that anyone would believe what you're saying now?
Well, to be honest with you, it's not so much whether you believe me or not as much as you hear me. Okay? I mean, it's not my intention to convince you. First of all, I'm not going to defend my lifestyle for the last 46 years. I've made mistakes. But I've...
Hey, serious. You want to know what makes this believable? Because once he got in office, all those LGBT bills and laws that he passed, he even went to our Selma Bridge anniversary and inserted the LGBT, which was no organization in the 60s, in the 60s, representing that group. He brought them up on the anniversary. He has done a lot of things for just that group alone, more than he did for his own people, if he was really our brother. You know what I'm saying? That's what kind of make this dude in 2008. This is before he did all of that stuff. But this gay man to come up in front of Congress to say this stuff makes it sort of believable. Because we didn't know he was going to pass all these LGBT laws and all this stuff once he got into stuff. Could he be swinging both ways? We said a lot of things that people just wrote off his conspiracy. But like I said, you always have to go back and connect the dots, especially when it comes to the word conspiracy. Something wasn't lining up for a lot of us, but we didn't have all the pieces. This right here is a big piece. This is a rocket right here, boy. Because it's like it started to explain a lot of the stuff that he did once he got in office.
I've always admitted to anything I've done, including these crimes. Okay? I can't tell you why to believe me other than the fact, I'm not saying believe me. I'm saying, you know what, here's the information. Look at it, do your own research, but do it based on the facts. Stop doing it based on this constant misinformation and misrepresentation that's been circulating on the internet. I'm going to give you everything in writing and you make your own decision.
What time did you meet him on November 6th, and what time did he arrive at your hotel in Gurnee the day following?
That was another dumbass question. It's like 10 years later. How the hell is he supposed to remember what time it was? But it's possibly he could. I'm just saying.
Met in the early evening on November 6th. As far as a specific time on November 7th, I cannot provide that to you. And I know where that question's coming from, but I cannot provide that to you.
You know where it's coming from.
Thank you.
How, when, and where did you incur this permanent disabling nerve and spinal injury?
Sacramento, California. Injuries from October of 2000 through August of 2001 while employed with B&G Delivery Systems on Harris Avenue in Sacramento, California.
And what is your source of income now? Is that
my source of income?
Compensation?
My source of income is disability, Social Security disability.
That's your sole source of income?
That is.
We all recall the claims and counterclaims and what happened with the Clinton allegations vis-a-vis Monica Lewinsky. Can you offer any physical evidence, any identifying physical features and so on that can support your claims?
I have already announced that I would identify certain physical features, but I will not do it at this time. It will be posted later at the advice of my attorney after we've discussed the specifics.
Okay, I'm buffering there a little bit. I just caught that. All he has to do is refer to his notes. Yeah, he seemed to have wrote really good notes, but you is in front of Congress, and truthfully, I respect the notes that he did wrote, because lately, these Congress meetings we be watching, these fools ain't got answers for nothing. And these are the professional leaders. Yeah, I think it was a little bit. I saw one of my screens pop out there for a second. So it might be buffering a little bit. That's why I keep stopping to say little things and stuff to, mess things up a little bit.
One quick one, and then one slightly longer one. Did you save any of the text messages?
The text messages, I've contacted Sprint Nextel, and the changing of the phone numbers, they actually have the procedures that they can recover the text messages from those numbers, but they do not stay on the phone when the numbers are changed.
And then when you were discussing the results of your polygraph, you first impugned the veracity of the test by saying that it was, quote, junk science. But then a few moments later, you said you scored very well in one respect. So it's unclear whether or not you actually are staking some of your claims on the polygraph.
No, actually, as far as I'm concerned about the polygraph, I'm not saying that it's good or it's bad. I am saying from the day that it was done and the day after, once I returned home, I was asked questions about the procedure and the process. And I had had a polygraph done once before, back in the 80s. And I specifically instructed the examiner, I knew darn well you didn't put the blood pressure cup and whatever on the fingertips on the same hands. And he was advised of the nerve damage and the fact of the circulation, and I have bilateral ulnar nerve entrapment in both arms. All right, I can't tell you how they did it. I will tell you that his report from Dr. Gelb to the report to Dr. Bartlett completely contradict each other. The information from Dr. Gelb, who is not a doctor at all, was never sent in totality to Mr. Bartlett. I cannot tell you. I'm telling you that this gentleman with antipolygraph.org, these are his opinions, these are his findings, these are not mine. Okay. I have said all along that the polygraph, I did not feel comfortable with the way it was done.
A couple of questions. First of all, given that you've got this record in the past of taking so many drugs yourself, why do you care whether he's taken it? And secondly, he seems like quite an interesting person to spend a couple of days with. Between the fellatio and the drug taking, what did you talk about?
I'm sorry?
Between the fellatio and the drug taking, what did you chat about?
Actually, pretty much nothing, other than the fact of what I was doing for a living, what I was doing in Chicago. Like I said, the entire conversations that we had were pretty basic and casual. His comments as far as what he did for a living, he never once acknowledged being a politician. In fact, he specifically stated he was in public service. You know, with my view, public service can mean just about anything. What was the other part of the question?
Why do you care so much?
Why do I care? I care so much because this political season has turned, you know, this country upside down. To be honest with you, we have gone back, I would say, a good 50 years in this country on race relations alone over being called racist. If you ask a candidate who chose to run for president, I'm not sure if you remember, but this country had a...
Shit. I wonder what he think now. 15 years later, boy, goddamn boy, it's fucked up. You can't say shit. We barely got a freedom of speech. I mean, it's fucked up.
Very nice lady in the state of New York by the name of Shirley Chisholm that once sought the nomination of the Democratic Party. And this was back, I think, in the late 60s, early 70s. And here was a true African American who you could ask her questions based on her record, on her credentials, on her beliefs, and you would have never been called racist. Today, you know, I'm speaking the truth about his own actions. You know, these aren't mine. I'm not running for office. And now all of a sudden you're called racist or bigot? I'm sorry, that's why I care. You have to face the facts. Somebody's going to have to ask him, or are you going to wait until, you know, the election's over and then start vetting your presidential candidates?
Still not explaining why is it so important for him to come out to say he got his dick sucked by a man. A lot of us don't find that interesting. A lot of us wouldn't have cared. That's that man. Smoking crack cocaine, though, that's something totally different. I mean, that's something totally way different.
Simply why you decided to take this on, and it's been reported that you've been disbarred in the state of Florida. I'm wondering if you're a part of the bar in D.C.
I'm happy to answer those questions as I expected they would come up. I have been suspended by the Florida Supreme Court on March 7th, 2008, and the suspension was a result of me being too litigious and allegedly not paying child support. That matter is now pending at the United States Supreme Court. But as a result, I have been reciprocally suspended by the District of Columbia Bar and the Federal District Court in the District of Columbia without an opportunity for a hearing or an opportunity to present my side of that story. There is on the website 147 pages which documents what's going on in my particular professional life, and it really isn't the subject of what's going on here today. But if you're curious, you know, it's a good read, and I encourage you to read it.
Is it fair for me to inquire about the kilt also?
You certainly can. I know it may seem odd to you, but I don't know why men wear pants, but I think it's a function of male genitalia size, and if you're normal to small.
Now, this part of the interview I did not understand. They talking about why do men wear pants. But I just don't understand. And another thing that's funny, bringing up the LGBT, this dude actually turned on him after he gave you all kind of rights and freedoms. Well, just before you gave him all the rights and freedoms and stuff like that, I would say, because this is just before all. I believe this is like August before the November election, 2008.
Pants probably aren't uncomfortable, but those of us at the other end of the spectrum find them very binding.
Excuse me, can I say something on your question to the kilt? Actually, I asked him to wear a suit and tie, and he says, why should he be uncomfortable? And I said, because you're paid to be uncomfortable. Look at me.
A little more seriously, though.
Well, he's not a fucking comedian, I'll tell you that. That shit was dry as hell. What the fuck is that supposed to be? What the hell? Let me continue, boy. They trying to fuck up my morning.
I mean, it's just, at a very human level here, it's obviously you have tremendous credibility problems, including fraud and deceit. There are.
And I don't respect that reporter, because who are you to judge to say that this man is lying? I'm sitting back here just listening with everybody else. It'd be wrong for me to say this guy's lying, because I don't know this guy's story. I'm not the judge. Now, what he can do is tell me what he know, and I can go from there, which this is 15 years later. We don't seen enough to where I can look at this and be like, dude, are you really telling the truth about this shit? You told the truth on the Congress floor? You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I could be wrong. This dude could be a big ass liar, trying to get money, trying to get his back fixed. Glad Obama wasn't responsible for that part.
Questions about you. It's very hard, I think, for probably some of us in the audience to take this whole situation seriously. So the question again is, why are you doing this, and how can you expect us to take this seriously?
I'm glad you asked that, and I'm going to tell you how I expect you to take it seriously. I expect you to ask me questions, and I expect you to do your job and actually find facts, as opposed to looking at Daily Kos or Fire Dog Lake or Huffington Post or all of these pro-Obama sites that are putting and twisting. Sir, I have not hidden from anything I have ever done in my life. Never. You can go back to the judges in any one of my cases, and they will tell you I have never wasted a taxpayer dime on a trial or even a preliminary hearing. If I did it and I got caught, I said I did it, okay? And I understand you asking about my credibility. You know what? My crimes were 20 some odd years ago, with the exception of the alleged crime in 2001, which I have not ran from, even though I'm being portrayed as hiding and running. I'm not, okay? That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to actually get facts and then make your decision, rather than fake Washington Post articles saying that I've been investigated 8 times over 25 years for blackmail against politicians, which is not true, but yet you're continuing to repeat it over and over again. Even though it's been proven not to be true, it doesn't matter. It's what is continuously being recycled out there. As long as you tell the truth, which I'm doing, you can talk about anything about my past that you want to. It doesn't bother me. I admit to it. You know, you can't live your life and then run and hide from it later. It doesn't work that way.
Well, you say you want us to get facts, but most of what you're alleging is difficult to corroborate. I mean, would the limo driver have witnessed the crack smoking and the fellatio, or were you and Obama the only people that...
Mr.
I mean, why is it so hard for the reporters to get down with what he's saying if they coming in with a biased mind like this guy just said? How you gonna get down to the root of things if you start?
Well, Tony, actually,
most of what you're alleging is difficult to corroborate. I mean, with the...
Well, that way.
Well, you say you want us to get facts, but most of what you're alleging is difficult to corroborate. I mean, would the limo driver have...
Who made y'all a motherfucking goddamn judge? Get out there and do some motherfucking reporting. Go do some research. Report the shit back to the people. That is your motherfucking job. Nobody asked you about your goddamn feelings. Ask the questions so we can get answers. That's all they're supposed to do. I'm just saying. I'm trying not to get mad. It's too early in the morning to get mad. But dumbass questions deserve a mad response. I feel it was a dumbass question, because they could ask better questions than what they doing. It's like they trying to throw shots at them and ask questions at the same time, showing that they biased. You know what I'm saying? Probably by who they work for or something like that. Which we didn't know it was this deep at this time. So back then we probably would have looked at this as a conspiracy, because it was a lot more of us brainwashed.
Witnessed the crack smoking and the fellatio, or were you and Obama the only people that...
Mr. Multani actually does have personal knowledge of the actions and the transactions that took place in the limo. Let me explain something to you. I was actually in contact with Mr. Multani in the first part of this year.
Pause. You know what's interesting about this? As they ask the questions, he's not looking down at no paper. He is answering the questions before they even finish, which could be a setup. So I have to look at that angle too. But the way he's answering these questions, it don't seem like he is lying. He's too detailed. He's telling the reporters to go look for this stuff in certain places. Places that none of us can really get to. Phone records, limo drivers. You know what I'm saying? The limo driver just went missing, boy. He got the hell up out of the way of this shit. I wonder what did he see? You know what I'm saying? But things get more interesting and stuff the more he talked, though. Because a lot of the stuff you can actually go back and find in the news. As far as the guy who got murdered, so he said, you know what I'm saying? The name of the guy and all this stuff. All this stuff is records that you can go find. So I wanted, and the thing that I noticed, like I said at the top of the show, well, the top of this video, is you don't hear Michelle's name come up too much at all. Where the hell did these kids come from if she's out there doing all this fucking old men? I'm just asking.
Since posting the YouTube video and the vicious attacks on the internet and the allegations that are constantly circulating out there that nobody bothered to fact check before they continue to post them, this driver has decided, and his family's decided, it's like all of a sudden they want to, disappear. It's my understanding that Mr. Multani's family was in Tupelo, Mississippi as recently as 3 weeks ago. I do know that there were public records at one time, and where those public records have disappeared in a couple of weeks because we had a private investigator down there actually going through public records that were verified just 2 months ago, and now all of a sudden they're not there.
Serious? I'm gonna disagree with that because this shit has hit the fan big time now. Remind you, this is 2008. Nobody took this shit serious. Now all these other allegations, basically, whatever's going on with President Biden is uncovering Barack Obama. Remember, Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president. All this stuff that's coming out, you know what I'm saying, on Hunter and Joe was under Barack Obama's watch. Which now is starting to fan up a whole bunch of other stuff that's starting to make sense. I don't know how this guy came back to surface, but he has a fresh interview out there where somebody finally sat down to interview him. You know what I'm saying? We might get into that a little bit too. Not tonight, but, I wanted to make sure that the base work is down first before we jump into the recent stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people up here on this platform, man, that's keeping up with this stuff. You go to their channel, it's up and down their channel. It's so much stuff, it's hard to keep up with. It's crazy.
I have a few questions. One, would you make all of your financial records available to the public and to reporters? I mean, I guess...
How about this, Serious? You know damn well, in 2008, you didn't know nothing about this nigga. They took some blackface, put it in front of us, goddamn, make him look good. Actually, he sounds like Witch Call right now, which we gotta watch out for. Veneswami. He remind me of Veneswami, cause that dude right there, I started calling him out like 2 months ago, and all of a sudden all this stuff pops up on him and stuff early. We're gonna get into that too. You know what I'm saying? Old videos, this dude act like he came from nowhere and stuff when we see this dude at old Democrat conventions and shit sitting there asking questions on national television. You know what I'm saying? Some of his deliveries, some of the things he's doing and saying on the campaign trail right now looks suspect to me. It kind of feels like Barack Obama again. And if you don't know where we're sitting at right now in the country as far as the politics and everything that's going on, and everything that's about to hit us if things fuck up next year, Venezuela would be the perfect person to put in place to push a lot of this shit through. They're using his face, they're using his youthness, his youthfulness out there going. And they got this dude on TV trying to rap to Eminem, which Eminem is suing him, by the way. Eminem is a punk for that shit. Even though I don't like Venezuela that much, but still, that's a punk ass move. You know what I'm saying? We might get into that too. Eminem, you suck, man. But and this was karaoke. This was some karaoke kind of shit. How you gonna sue a dude for karaoke in one of your songs? That's fucked up.
A lot of us probably feel suspicious of the way you finance a National Press Club event, the way you pay for a private investigator to go to Tupelo, Mississippi.
I have no problem with that whatsoever in posting my financial records.
And a follow-up question: the Veritas Media Group. I understand that Joseph Giganti has disclaimed any connection.
Okay.
But it seems awfully odd that he would be, the spokesperson for Alan Keyes, political campaign. That your organization would be called Veritas. It sounds awfully like a red herring. Or what are your comments on that?
The name was just, to my knowledge, the name was just drawn out of a hat. This is not something that was done. First of all, Mr. Giganti, as far as I know, has no connections with me. I've never met the man. I've never had any communications with him whatsoever. And he definitely does not finance me. And he has not financed this event. Okay. In fact, this event has been financed completely through contributions to pay.
Damn, mic on mute. To tell you the truth, think about this right here. First, we had George Bush. We're going to go from the millennium. 2000. We're going to go from 2000. We had George W. Bush in office. They made us hate this dude. You know what I'm saying? Trump don't care. Bush don't care about black people. All this bullshit, motherfucking millionaire stars getting on fucking TV trying to tell you and shit. These motherfuckers ain't I don't know why we listen to these celebrities and shit. But then you have Barack Obama come from nowhere to win the Democrats over because most blacks are for Democrats. Alright, Barack serves his 2 terms. And I guess they was trying to get Hillary, you know what I'm saying? Which would have been the same administration in the office. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us wasn't thinking and didn't look at the world as being fucked up at that moment when Obama was there because we fooled by this dude's image. Alright? Trump becomes president in 2016. It seemed like they ran the same fucking play that they did on Bush, on Trump, to get black folks to go for Biden. All they doing is playing mind games with us. Man, but fuck that. Usually I say I could be wrong. I know I'm right on that shit. Fuck that. Very rare you'll hear me say that. But usually I say I might be wrong. But from all the evidence I'm seeing, that's exactly what the fuck they did. And we gotta start asking ourselves why. What are they up to? Those are the things we're not doing. We're not asking why. On a lot of stuff. Ask why on every damn thing. And you start to come up with some crazy ass conspiracies of your own that's going to end up becoming truth because you're not going to believe it once you start seeing it and all the pieces start being put together in your head. And you go say it to somebody who don't have the pieces, yeah, it's going to be a conspiracy. So it's always important to hear all directions. No matter if you like them or not. You know what I mean?
PayPal, and I will most definitely post those contributions without the giver's name, of course.
Actually, James, I would have to do more research in that because that was a time where I was early teen, not even a teenager yet. You know what I'm saying? So I really wasn't paying attention. You hear the little bits and pieces on how the administration was. You know what I'm saying? Like Clinton, we know about the crime bills and all that stuff, but we don't know deep down. Like we just now finding out about the other stuff, you know what I'm saying? The islands and the planes and all the shit that we didn't know back then. You know what I'm saying? Basically, this feels like the same kind of scenario. We starting to find out stuff after they leave office. That Negro was too damn clean. And I don't know if you heard the first part, James, what I was Joe Brown, Judge Joe Brown, and the things that he was saying, given the lineage, the family lineage of Obama, you really start to scratch your head. And it makes you wonder, it makes you really think, why did Trump ask for the birth certificate? What did he know that we didn't know, but we criticized him? We gotta stop doing that shit. Do some research, then criticize a motherfucker. Just don't criticize him and he racist because he wanted to find out the birth certificate. Evidently, it might have been something we should have looked at before he got elected. You know what I'm saying? Ask his lineage and all this shit. We find out this dude connected to the Bushes and shit like his 6th or 7th year. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta be so quick, gotta stop being so quick to judge, especially if we don't know, because that turns away other people who might want to go do the research and they just gonna believe whatever you say. Like, hey, man, that dude racist, man. Barack Obama, they was just happy to see a goddamn penny up in the White House. That's all that shit.
Because would you ask me to expose individual citizens of this country that contribute $25 here or $50 there? I mean, the maximum contribution that's been, there's been one contribution of $1,000 and everything else is $500 or below. There's been one contribution of $1,000 and everything else is $500 or below. In fact, 99.9% of it, I would say, is $100 or below.
I understand you have a terminal brain tumor. Can you tell us what kind, in what lobe, and how that might affect your mental health?
I will release my medical records when someone asks for a signed release. My tumor has been diagnosed, it has been confirmed, it has been verified by the Chicago Tribune, and I will not discuss my medical history at this point other than saying that there will be a list of my doctors up on LarrySinclair.com.
And this fool got a lot of shit wrong with him, boy. Boy, goddamn fucked up arms, couldn't take the goddamn the lie detector right. Got daggone spine all fucked up. Daggone, and the list goes on, man. Got daggone, this dude is fucked up.
.org later this afternoon, and anyone interested in contacting those doctors for medical records can do so at your own expense. And I will release them.
I have a question. Are you alleging that Senator Barack Obama has something to do with the murder or death of the gentleman you were talking about from his church?
Mr. Young?
Yes.
It's my belief that that's exactly what has transpired, and that's why I have contacted the Chicago Police Department.
So, is our black president being accused of another murder? Let me find out this dude is gangster as shit, man. And remind you, this is 2008. And evidently, I guess Barack Obama's ex-boyfriend got sent to the upper room. I'm just saying. That's what he's saying. But, you know.
It's also why I provided Detective Robert McVickers with the information that he specifically requested. And yes, that's exactly what I'm alleging. I am definitely alleging that it is my belief, okay, that Barack Obama and Jeremiah Wright either knew who or had the person that killed Donald Young killed. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And sir, I'm wondering if you could remind me which records you would like to have released by the Obama campaign. It sounded like the list was rather extensive and it spanned a number of years.
Well, no, actually, the only thing we asked him to do was authorize the release of his cell phone records from November 3rd to November 8th of 1999, and we would actually go for those records and obtain them if he granted permission. The other records, I believe...
Now, it'll be fucked up if those records happen to pop up. How in the hell you gonna dispute this story then, boy, if those records pop up and everything line up? How would he have came in contact with Barack Obama? If phone records did pop up, do that make this story credible? Because, I mean, that's the question to ask right now, because this old ass video has went viral and this dude has resurfaced. Man. Damn, Obama. But don't think that this ain't it right here, boy. I'm loaded for Barack, god daggone boy. It's too much stuff falling out the sky right now. Like I said, it was things that drew attention, but without enough evidence, it just seemed like that you're hating on a black president. That's how folks come off. You know what I'm saying? I'm one of those guys, man. I go to sleep watching the news. I wake up watching the news. You know what I'm saying? That daggone. You might can hear a lot of stuff in your sleep, because a lot of the stuff that they was been doing the last 7 or 8 years was not making sense. To me, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But this video is from 2008, I believe August of 2008. This is 2 months before the presidential election, where Barack Obama got elected. And this dude comes from nowhere after this is 3 years after he saw Barack Obama at the Democratic Convention in 2004. And he was stating that basically he was sucking and smoking with the former president when he was a senator up in Illinois. I mean, but if they pull out the phone records and numbers and stuff like that start lining up, old messages start popping up, it's going to be hard to dispute this dude. I don't know what he's trying to get out of this. It's still a question. You know what I'm saying? To me, I think he's looking for a payday for sucking the first black president's dick. I guess this is the male version of the Monica Lewinsky version. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the hell this dude trying to prove. But the question I ask, if you knew Barack Obama was smoking crack, would you have voted for him? I mean, we seen other you know what I'm saying, other officials and stuff, mayors and stuff like that. I forgot that mayor's name that got caught smoking crack. God dang. But damn, he got caught smoking crack. I think he got demoted. You know what I'm saying? He got busted up in a hotel and everything. I think James could remember that one. Damn, I forgot that damn mayor's name. So I'm not sure if he was trying to pull the same thing and get the president all fucked up before he got into the White House. But I always thought the guy was kind of a little frail, a little skinny. Like, boy, vegetarians live a bad life, boy. End up looking like those Chinese folks I'm seeing on video now. They went through that typhoon. They getting blown across the street, man, because these fools don't eat. I think I'm gonna make a short out of one of those shits, man. Them Chinese people just get blown across the street by hurricane wind, man. That shit funny as hell.
The only thing we're asking for is his email, account records, and...
Nah, Leah, from what he said, you have to go back a little bit from where this started at, where this piece of video started at. He stated that he, I think they did some girlfriend got daggone the first time and shit. He wanted to get high or some shit, and Barack Obama, you know what I'm saying, pulled the shit out, you know what I'm saying. And then they had an encounter, an entanglement. They had a little entanglement right there, right? And then I guess the entanglement was so good that Barack Obama came back the next night and pulled out an 8-ball. From what I'm hearing on some of the newer videos, which is crazy now. Now you can tell the exact weight, but he might say it on this video. I might be wrong. He might have said it on this video, which then if he do, then I'll take it back. But Barack Obama pulled out an 8-ball, and they went to Cloud 9. They was feeling fine. You know what I mean?
Cell phone records from September 2007 through December 23rd of 2007, and January 18th through February 29th of this year.
Pardon, it's interesting. Wouldn't the right love to comb through those records, I'm sure, to see what they could find, even if it's completely unrelated to what you are saying here today?
Well, first of all, I don't know who's referring to the right or the left, because I'm kind of like, I'm one of those middle kind of people. I don't tend to fluctuate on either side. And as far as combing through those records, we've asked those records to be authorized to be released to us in a federal civil case. I have no intentions of disclosing his personal records. I mean, we're subpoenaed them, want to subpoena them for evidence purposes, nothing else.
Sir, yes.
sorry.
I'm sorry if I missed the answer to this earlier. Who is paying your fees?
On Larry's website, there's a PayPal button to donate to his legal fund, which is me. And like Larry's other PayPal account, I've gotten maybe $5,000, nothing over $500, and most of them, like Larry's, are small ones. And we got a few checks in the mail, but nothing over $100.
Exactly.
Are you in negotiations to write a book or any other paid media?
Sir, and let me make this clear for everyone, I am not negotiating with anyone for any selling of stories, book publications of any kind, paid media appearances of any kind. What I want the media to do is to take the story, understand it, get the facts straight from me as opposed to the internet, and you make your decision whether or not it's something that the American voter needs to be informed of. You do that, I'm done, okay? I have not attempted to make any money from this. I don't want any money from this. I don't even want any notoriety from this. I want people I really want you to let this guy ask a question.
So, my question is, what the fuck do you want? Why is it important for us to know that you sucked his dick? That's the number one thing. Now, smoking crack, on the other hand, that's something else. That definitely brings up. That really put up a flag there. You know what I'm saying? But all that other shit, why? You sitting on national TV admitting that you suck dick. I just don't understand.
Okay.
I had a few questions. First of all, you said that you became aware when Obama gave his speech at the Democratic Convention. Why didn't you keep your cell phone records with when Mr. Young called you? Like, were you billed for the cell phones?
Actually, the cell phone records, you need to understand something. My cell phone numbers at that time, and in fact, my cell phone currently, is through a division of Sprint Nextel called Boost. Those records are available to me online for a 45-day period. Now, they do have the records, and they actually have confirmed that, and I've agreed to have them, I've turned them over to Chicago Police Department and actually authorized their release to them, which they don't need me to authorize. I have personally contacted Sprint Nextel approximately 2 weeks ago, asking that they dig up the records off of their system for each of those phone numbers from those periods and provide them to us. And I was instructed to make that request over a web form on the Sprint website. And if anyone here has Sprint or Sprint Nextel, you will know that Sprint is probably the worst cell phone provider company to deal with. But I will be getting them, and like I said, they have confirmed that those records are available.
Are you going to post those on your website as well?
I will.
And do you have the names of your best friend that you were visiting in Chicago? Has he testified or just said on the record that yes?
By the way, I'm not sure if his web page is set up, but this guy's name is Larry Sinclair. If y'all was interested and wanted to go look up, you know what I'm saying, this guy's info, like I said, this is a hot topic right now. This guy has resurfaced, and everybody is digging into this because why didn't nobody else? We didn't hear nothing about this. That's what makes this weird. This happened, and still the public is blind to it. Like we didn't know nothing about this interview or nothing until recently. Even for the people who had it up here 10 years ago, you can look at their views from 10 years ago. And it's like, this video has been suppressed. Like something this big only got 200 and something likes? Come on, man. And think they're gonna be playing with our shit. Yeah, they're gonna.
Yes, he was in town in Chicago because of my son.
I will tell you this, John Crutzen from the Chicago Tribune should be able to confirm that that's been verified. I will not release my godson's name. Not with the attacks that have been leveled against my family and my childhood friends in South Carolina. I'm not about to let these people do that to him. I will tell you the last name is Dukes. That's all I will tell you. D-U-K-E-S.
All right, and last question, in your first YouTube video, you did say that the events took place between November 3rd and November 8th. And now you said that they started on November 6th.
No. What I said was that I was in Chicago from November 3rd to November 8th. And see, this is another incident of misrepresenting, people twisting it. My statement was, while in Chicago, between November 3rd and November 8th of 1999. Okay? I've always stated as far as...
Remind you, he have not looked down for a piece of paper in a very long time. He is going straight off the head, which is very interesting. Just reading body language. Just reading the body language.
As far as dates, it would be November 6th and November 7th of 1999. Yeah.
Hello. This is a question for both of you. I just want to know, do either of you, what is your position on Barack Obama, whether or not he should be president, and how do these allegations inform your decision?
That's between me. That's between me and the voting booth. So I'll let Larry answer that.
As far as me, I've always been straight up, and I said I've never told anyone not to vote for the man. In fact, I personally thought that he was somewhat charismatic, but my whole thing is I don't prefer either one of the three, honestly.
So basically, his mission is basically just to embarrass the guy. That has to be it. He just want to embarrass him. Because what is your purpose of coming on national TV? You wrote a book and all this shit. Matter of fact, this was around the time Superhead was popular. Was he trying to be the male Superhead? I'm just asking. Because something is weird about this shit. Even though he might be telling the truth, but why? If you still want us to vote for him and all this, why the fuck are you out here talking? I just don't understand, man. I just don't understand. Damn.
Hello? Yeah. Senator Barack Obama is a charismatic person. Did you fall in love with him when you had sex with him in 1999? And secondly, what are your feelings today? What are your feelings?
Okay, first, no ma'am, I did not fall in love with Barack Obama.
I can't tell, bro. I cannot tell. Somebody had to pay you on the back end or something. Cause see, now I'm gonna come down on you. I tried to give you the benefit of the doubt first time, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of this stuff, by his actions, do swing this way, by what he's saying. Cause all the bills and shit that he passed and shit. But if you don't want no credit for all this, why come out and say anything? Unless you fell in love when you found out that this nigga was running for president. I'm just saying.
But it's a good question because people have made that allegation. No, ma'am. And Barack Obama is only charismatic, you know, by being molded that way. All right.
Look how gay he get when that conversation, when that question come about. I mean, he just as gay as he want to be when he answering that shit. Man, you fell in love with that damn string bean. Just admit it.
Once you take the teleprompters and the lights out from in front of them, you get a whole different person. And as far as my feelings now, those are my feelings. I think you're looking at someone that is completely fake, plastic, that has been made up and put out in front of the American voter, and that's been allowed to walk away from any serious questions about any of his own personal actions. That's what I think.
Now, right there, it's possible he could be telling the truth. Because there's a reason why we didn't know nothing about this nigga when he started. And nothing about his life for real. And I always ask the question, where the hell Michelle Obama come at? Where did the two kids come and play at? I hate to be the conspiracy theorist on this, but I always look like that family was put together. But I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. Off of things that I'm noticed. You know what I'm saying? There's some other things and stuff too, but I ain't even gonna go there. But let's go.
Well, ma'am, nothing personal. Okay. So I'm gonna, okay, now I'm gonna have to, and don't take this in a disrespectful manner, but let me ask you this. In your entire lifetime, you've never had a one-night stand?
Sir, you just admitted to 2 nights. Back to back. Boy, you was running for King Lockjaw at that time, wasn't you? I'm just saying. What the hell you talking about a one-night stand? You just confessed to 2. Now, I am paying attention to your motherfucking.
I mean, I'm sorry, but you know, let's deal with reality here. Let's not act like, you know, people go around and fall in love. I mean, that's the biblical way, but it doesn't happen.
You were in touch with the limo driver. Can you detail that contact? And did you save those phone records?
I was in touch with the limo driver, and the contact was basically letting know that I had made public allegations on YouTube after having notified a reporter with the New York Post, who the Post...
By the way, this is YouTube 2007, 2008. So yeah, a lot of this shit, man's been pushed way down on top of billions and billions and billions of videos. That don't mean he's telling the truth though. I'm still 50-50. I don't know.
Post had decided that it was just a little too hot for them to run with at the time. I was informed that if, in fact, the story broke and this individual felt that there was enough media coverage where he was safe, then he, in fact, would come out and corroborate those statements. It was just a little too hot for them to run with at the time. I was informed that if, in fact, the story broke and this individual felt that there was enough media coverage where he was safe, then he, in fact, would come out and corroborate those statements. And that's all I can tell you.
What are you really up to? What kind of justice do you seek? And I think it's too early to impeach the president.
Well, let me ask you this. You say it's too early to impeach the president, so you've already elected him. I thought that was the whole process of having...
Now, that right there was weird. Did y'all hear that question? Why would you impeach somebody who haven't been elected yet, unless they was already pre-selected? Things that make you go, I'm just saying. That was a weird-ass motherfucking question.
You're really up to what kind of justice do you seek? And I think it's too early to... What are you really up to? What kind of justice do you seek? And I think it's too early to impeach the president.
Well,
that shit sounds weird as hell. Is it too early to impeach the president? The motherfucker is 2 months away from the election. How in the hell are you calling him the president already? And this is coming from the press. The press can't be trusted, just like a lot of these news channels can't be trusted. A lot of this shit is just... I'm glad I get around to see the difference. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I'm gonna start posting more on my wall from other news sources that's hard to reach. You know what I'm saying? Some of them had to resort and just end up just using their apps. You know what I'm saying? Because they can't even put stuff up here because YouTube ain't gonna agree with it.
Let me ask you this. You say it's too early to impeach the president, so you've already elected him. I thought that was the whole process of having an election in this country, of the candidate actually being vetted before the American public. Nothing personal, and believe me, this is not personal between me and Barack Obama. The only part of this that has become personal between me and the Obama campaign is the organized and orchestrated attacks against me and my family on the internet. That's the only personal part. Outside of that...
I mean, it should be personal. You came out and blabbered this man's personal business. If he like to smoke crack and get his dick sucked by daggone funny looking white boys, that should be his business. Why are you out here telling us? I'm just asking. And boy, his razor line is all crooked. Don't tell nobody else though.
These are true statements. My thing is, what you just said, I think you want to ask your next president to be truthful with you and not put up a book that he claims, oh, I was a street kid who found my way later. But later is not quite 1999. That's all I asked him to do originally, was just admit that his drug use was still current as of 99, okay?
So, was Barack Obama in the White House last month or 2 months ago and left his stuff up in the damn White House? We sit here looking at that crackhead Hunter boy. Hunter looking like, goddamn, it ain't me this time. I'm just saying. Was he there for them to put the rainbow flag next to the American flag hanging on the White House? Why you got a bunch of goddamn going on transsexuals or whatever you call these suckers down there running around? Oh, that was a hot mess, man.
You said you first came to Washington with the Democratic National Committee Rules Committee session. Is that correct?
Well, I originally came to D.C. the first time, I think was May 28th was my arrival. That's correct.
Right. At that time, did you have any contact with anyone from the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Are you referring to anyone that's official with the campaign or someone who
Official
supports?
or
Okay.
unofficial? Official or unofficial?
I've had no contact, to the best of my knowledge, with anyone that represents the Clinton campaign or any other campaign. As far as
So why did it matter if it was official or unofficial?
the 8th was my arrival. That's correct.
Right. At that time, did you have any contact with anyone from the Hillary Clinton campaign?
Are you referring to anyone that's official with the campaign or someone who
Official
supports?
or
Okay.
unofficial? Official or unofficial?
I've had no contact.
That's an answer to a question that didn't make no sense. Why should it matter if it's official or unofficial? It should be a yes or no answer. Period. So that part right there seems kind of weird. That's weirder than the woman who asks, should they impeach a president who ain't president yet at this time?
To the best of my knowledge, with anyone that represents the Clinton campaign or any other campaign. As far as speaking with people who adamantly support Hillary Clinton, yes, I'm sure I've spoke to quite a few of them on that day.
So you're saying, to the best of your knowledge, you don't know if you spoke
To the best of my knowledge, I do not know
but there
if
is a
I...
possibility that you could have.
What I'm telling you, sir, is I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I didn't speak to someone, because I may have spoken to one lady that, represented themselves to be one thing, and that's catch-22, and I'm not going there.
I'll wind this up now with just a few more questions. So if anybody who has not asked a question wants to ask one first, we want to give them an opportunity.
Montgomery.
And then
This lady in the black.
Can you tell us why you think that Obama and Wright are somewhat involved in the murder of the choir master?
My entire opinion of that matter is based on phone conversations with the gentleman identified to me as Mr. Young. This person made it very clear that they were personally and intimately involved with Barack Obama. The first contact that was ever made between me and that person initiated to my cell phone number, which was only left with the Obama campaign. And this person specifically made the statements that he was discussing Obama was discussing with him and his pastor on how to best deal with that situation, and then he ends up dead on December 23rd. That's how I'm saying it. And if I didn't answer it clear enough, let me know and I'll go back.
Just one last question. Well, I'm sort of wondering if there's any truth to the rumors that you're at all associated or have been contacted by the Bilderberg group, but that's not my question. That's not my question. My question is, because I think we're all dying to know, especially Mr. Colbert. So, was he well hung?
Actually, I've referred to that. You know what? I'm going to answer the question the same way I always have. Barack Obama, to that.
There. Question is by the Bilderberg truth to the rumors that one last.
No, this reporter did not just ask what I thought I didn't catch this the first time around. Tell me she didn't ask that damn question. I'm gonna go Booker T. Tell me she just didn't say that. Listen close.
Just one last question. Well, I'm sort of wondering if there's any truth to the rumors that you're at all associated or have been contacted by the Bilderberg group, but that's not my question. That's not my question. My question is, because I think we're all dying to know, especially Mr. Colbert. So, was he well hung?
Actually, I've referred.
This motherfucker asked this dude, was he well hung? Are they forgetting that this man has a wife sitting out there? What the fuck have they been playing us with? All of this shit don't seem right at this point. Why in the fuck would that damn reporter access he's motherfucking home when you know that motherfucker has a damn wife that he was running with in the campaign? She was right beside him, goddammit. I mean, was that an appropriate question? Even though he's saying what he's saying, but is he hung? I wonder if I should take a couple of these for clips. Boy, these motherfuckers, these are some of the dumbest reporters I have ever seen. They absolutely have no good questions at all. Is he hung? Everybody wants to know. Motherfucker, ain't nobody want to know that shit. The dude has a wife and you on national television asking, is he home? Despite the situation, you don't know if this guy lying or not. Damn.
To that, you know what? I'm going to answer the question the same way I always have. Barack Obama is a wannabe black man with a white voice, and that's where I'll leave it.
Oh. I didn't see that part coming. Oh man, that right there was some heavy fire right there. That was some heavy fire.
Bear. So, was he well hung?
Actually, I've referred to that. You know what? I'm going to answer the question the same way I always have. Barack Obama is a wannabe black man with a white voice, and that's where I'll leave it.
Damn. And Obama didn't murk your ass, man. Did he call Barack Obama a fake black person? I mean, how do y'all feel about it? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Obama fans out there. But truthfully, I did not see that one coming right there. I think I stopped this earlier, probably at 45 minutes when I decided I just want to switch code. So these last couple of minutes, a lot of this stuff is kind of new to me for the first time. Especially these last couple of questions, man. It's like, what the fuck?
Yes, ma'am. White boy, I always have. Actually, I'm
sorry, I had to hear that shit one more time. That shit was funny.
Referred to that. You know what? I'm going to answer the question the same way I always have. Barack Obama is a wannabe black man with a white voice, and that's where I'll leave it. Yes, ma'am.
How was Donald Young murdered?
Donald Young was actually shot execution style to the best of my knowledge. However, it's my understanding from discussions with the Chicago Police Department as well as from media accounts is that there was no forced entry. The door was closed. And I've always said that I believe Donald Young's murder was actually made to look like a copycat from a murder that was approximately 1 month earlier.
Yes, I also read that there were 3 murders, gay murders. All 3 were connected to Barack Obama's church.
I know of a second individual that was murdered.
Did anybody hear anything about that? 3 murders connected to Obama's church? Now, I want to say most of these reporters are Democratic, just by how they was coming at him and asking the questions to make him look smaller than what he is or make him look stupid. But I ain't never heard of no 3 murders in the church or nothing like that. That's some new information right there. You find out this nigga gangster is a motherfucker.
Who was in fact indeed a member of the choir. As far as the details to that one, I can't really go into it because I'm not that familiar with it. I do know that a Larry, I think the name is Larry Bland, was murdered in November or late October, early November or something. And like I said, I believe that that was the murder that was used as a copycat to kill Donald Young.
Nate Spencer that was shot execution style, and then just recently there was an article that came out that Nate died of an illness. But then I saw on his best friend's blog that it was an executed murder.
Okay, and that's why what I have done on my blog, and I understand where you're coming from with this because I've been inundated with these questions and people have made allegations, and I've tried to keep it simple. I cannot speak on Nate Spencer. I cannot speak on Larry Bland. I have asked everyone to actually get their facts correct before they post information regarding these individuals' deaths. I spoke on Donald Young's death because I'm familiar with exactly what happened, and I believe I know who had it happen.
In terms of sexual orientation, how do you identify gay, straight, bisexual?
Who, me? I've been gay all of my life. Unfortunately, for some people who don't understand the lifestyle, I mean, I'm not one of those people who argue the point, you're born that way or you change that way. I've always been gay.
Time, and Mr. Sinclair is now going to leave the room. I'll be out in a minute or two. If people want to organize a follow-up questions, I'll entertain them and do that as best we can. Thank you for coming today.
Thanks, guys.
His campaign for
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. A straight up confession of Barack Obama enjoying fellatio by this guy and smoking crack with him. I'm not sure if this story is true. This was just a review. But what do y'all really think about what you heard? That was a lot of information, and the things that, you know what I'm saying, that come to my attention is why 2 months before he's about to get elected, how did that reporter know that he was going to get elected? You know what I'm saying? So they just asking the impeachment question, which is weird. If you're not mad, if you wasn't in love, what is the point of tarnishing this man's reputation? True or not true? I mean, what would be his purpose? This is just some. This one right here is a wild one. Again, this was from 2008, and evidently this guy has got a brand new interview out there, more, you know what I'm saying, one-on-one, and the person who interviewed him, you know what I'm saying, they might get down to the nitty-gritty, man. They might get down to the nitty-gritty, or at least some information or some things that we might not have known. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said earlier, we didn't know shit about this guy. This guy just popped up. Talking cool, smooth. Just straight up hustler, man. Just straight up hustler. You know what I'm saying? Why would they withhold all this information? Why would they hide this from the public? Why ain't this ever been brought up again? There's a lot of questions that go along with this. No matter if he's lying or telling the truth. The way they pushed it down, you know what I'm saying? The way I'm seeing this shit, when you go punch this up, it possibly could be true the way they pushed this shit down to stop it. The only reason why I say that is because they let a lot of bullshit lies fly up this motherfucker every fucking day that they want you to want you brainwashed or hypnotized about. But when it come down to some real shit, they gonna make sure the algorithm don't catch that motherfucker. Just like this video here. I don't expect this video to get a lot of views just because, and I didn't even put the topic of the title in yet. I just put confessions. I didn't hashtag nothing in it yet, just because I feel that they was gonna mess it up while I was live. You know what I'm saying? So the world of YouTube, man, the world of YouTube. You do something they don't like, boy, they'll make a rule for it. What is it, 3 o'clock in the morning? Rule be going out by 8 o'clock, boy, just to fuck your shit up. All right. We get ready to shut this down. I'm not sure if I'm sleepy quite yet, though. I want to thank everybody for joining me this morning, you know what I'm saying, for a great confession show. I want everybody remember to hit the like button on the way out, you know what I'm saying. Share this out, you know what I'm saying. This is the information folks don't know, you know what I'm saying. Let them be the job. I mean, let them be the judge of, you know what I'm saying. Don't let just one person tell you that something is a conspiracy. Go do your own research, and then you can come back and be like, I agree or disagree. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know if this guy was telling the truth. I don't understand a lot of his movements, but the stuff that he was saying could be relevant to what we have seen coming through that administration that 8 years after that. You know what I'm saying? If you're blind to a lot of the facts, it's possible you could think he did a great job. I wasn't really into the politics at that time, and I can say he messed up quite a few things. But as you see how things go now, how much backup do he got with these news reporters on these national networks that's going to paint a picture of him looking nice? Sort of like how they doing Joe Biden right now. With all the bullshit that he done, this motherfucker has a 46% approval when 6 months ago he was at a 43. It seemed like they just trying to keep Biden in our face just cause the percentages don't add up from what I've been paying attention to for the last 2 years. This guy should be at least at a goddamn 6% right now. I don't know how he's going up, how he stayed balanced when I turn on my news and I see all these Democrats leaving the fucking party. And I'm not talking about just the blacks for Trump. I'm talking about all nationalities is leaving the Democratic Party. For a reason. They won't allow you to think for yourself. I mean, shit. That party did it to itself. And Joe Biden exposed the hell out of their ass by the dumb shit that he's doing. Exposing the hell out of that party. But, of course, I'm not done with that party yet. Like I said, they made some of our lives hell for the last couple of years and shit. I'll go down in a burning ship. I don't give a damn. I'm going to push this info out that folks don't know nothing about. Goddamn. Fuck that. With that being said, I want everybody to have a great morning. How should we go out? I think I still got my feet up. Remember to hit the like button, share this out, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. If you like content like this, you want to see the channel grow, please donate to $RealMadTV. And again, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Leah, Sirius S, Gabe, James. Where the hell James go? Well, I know he up to no good, boy. There you go. And everybody else that I might have forgot. Young came through. It's me, Lala. Forever Lisa, if you're still in the bushes. Rum Shaker, thank y'all all. I'm going to try to make this more frequent this time of the morning and stuff for the people who still up and stuff like that. I'm an owl. I'm gonna be up. So, peace.
My feet up, my feet up, my feet up. Trap, I'm doing me. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up in the trap. I'm doing me. My feet up, I'm doing me. My feet up. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up in the trap. I'm doing me. Keep my distance from these suckers. I can't let them ruin me. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. 13 jumped off the porch with drugs is influence. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up in the trap. I'm doing me. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. Bring the work naked like a skinny dipping. No problem, we did for the school of vision. Told out, couple screws missing. Paranormal nigga, superstition. No paper in the realm of fishing. Niggas stole what a nigga kissing. Without a diamond, still shine kissing. Set around for everybody hitting. Party strong, trying to for a mission. Mathematics, simple addition. Bad luck, like a bad kid. One of the few stickers, but I ain't no matter what. Never act different, no GPS. But they back tripping. Money cup, guess I'm back tripping. Like that's the kid, I guess I'm back to hey, yo, keep back with my feet up in the trap. I'm doing me. Keep my distance from these suckers. I can't let them ruin me. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. 13 jumped off the porch with drugs is influence. Hey, yo, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up in the trap. I'm doing me. Hey, yo, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. I was riding the tourist dreaming of a rake. Got another level bun, then another day. Go by the X-Plane, pop by the K. Black cat with a D, shot a Timberlake. Real reach at a rally, it's another 8. Ball pro, don't rock step with an 8. I'm a star cloud 9, I'm an Alice Pay. Roll run the show, money, get it straight to stay. Glad brother finna kid, have him on the way. Riding on the 6-9, person on J. I was counting money way back at home, hey. 7 name with a boy, money boy trade. HD lifestyle, let me phone day. 4 clips, 2 rock, chrome, 100K. Being legal, I get 34 state. City time, you gotta hey yo, keep back with my feet up in the trap. I'm doing me. Keep my distance from these suckers. I can't let them ruin me. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. 13 jumped off the porch with drugs is influence. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up in the trap. I'm doing me. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up in the trap. I'm doing me. Keep my distance from these suckers. I can't let them ruin me. Drug dealer, pimps and hustlers, they the ones influence me. 13 jumped off the porch with drugs is influence. Hey yo, keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up. Keep back with my feet up.